just over a week removed from us finding out that the college football's 12-team playoff will go to straight seeding, Greg Sankey stepped in front of reporters at SEC spring meetings and told them they're still talking about what particular formula they want to go to when we're using the college football playoff to get 16 teams. Let's talk about what he said and what we can infer. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk football. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think the Big Ten and the SEC need 4 automatic qualifying spots? Because that is one of the 2 formats that is being discussed as Greg Sankey goes out of his way to say, look, we have not decided on any format whatsoever. But the more we talk about this and the more that we hear from other commissioners, particularly outside the Power 4 conference and certainly outside of those 2 Super 2 conferences, they're upset about what this playoff scenario could mean. And anybody that has even a little bit of, shall we say, objectivity about who gets to play where, myself included, will tell you that this is a terrible idea. Like, this is awful. This is bad. I don't enjoy knowing that there are going to be 8 teams from 2 leagues in a tournament that features just 16 teams. That's unfair. And it's unfair in years for which, we might actually not have that many teams that are that good. It's possible. But what if you got more than that? Like, I think about the SEC in basketball this year. They were phenomenal. They got a bunch of teams into this. And in getting a bunch of teams into this, it was cool. It worked out. It's fine. You only got the 1 automatic qualifier for winning the conference tournament, but they were so good that it was hard to keep them out of that tournament at, length. And that's with 16 teams in their league. Real cool. You can do that in college football and then some. The formats that they're discussing are 4-4-2-2-1, and then the 5 automatic qualifiers plus 11 at large. The 5 automatic qualifiers only worked when we were talking about what it might mean for us to have the Pac-12 as a member of these Power 5 automatic qualifiers, right? So it was going to be the Pac-12, the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, and the Big 10 as they were, formed in 2021, not as they are formed in 2024, where we have 16 teams in the SEC. We have 17 plus Notre Dame basically in the ACC, but we're going to leave Notre Dame off to the side, so 17 plus Notre Dame, and then we get our 18 teams in the Big 10. We get 16 teams in the Big 12. The Big 12 and the ACC are also thinking they got short end of the stick because they really have. When you think about how good those programs can be given an opportunity, Arizona State being in the playoff last year was a great example of just how deep the Big 12 can be. Arizona State, who was picked to finish dead last in the preseason media poll, ends up winning the conference championship against a really good Iowa State team. Another way of saying it, Iowa State would have been in that spot. I bet they would have given Texas a hard time as well. It's a very well-constructed football team. Chris Kleiman has gone out of his way to say, look, if we are cutting our noses off to spite our face by playing 9-round robin games, we need to stop doing that. Because it feels like we're being told that our league is not that good because we beat up on each other, not because other people can beat up on us. And I think he's got a point. Because when you look at the Big Ten, you've got Ohio State, you've got Michigan, you've got Penn State, you've got Oregon, right? Those are your 4 that you expect to be really great. But then there's every opportunity for an Iowa to pop up because they do. USC to pop up because it will. Washington because, it could happen. Nebraska could be good one year. And that's just the Big Ten. We go through the SEC. Let's go with our traditional powers there. Let's go with Alabama, Georgia, LSU. Let's go with teams that have won the national championship, the college football playoff since era, right? Then, who's your 4th best team? Could be A&M, could be Ole Miss, could be Tennessee, right? Could be Auburn, who's won a national championship in this century. Oklahoma, who's won a national championship in this century. Texas, who's won a national championship in this century. Really, we're just talking about Mississippi State. And Ole Miss, sort of. Florida, they won a national championship this century, too. They just haven't been that good in the college football playoff era. I don't think that there should be automatic qualifiers at all, but I don't think we're going to be able to see a format where that's true. I think you're going to need to give 1 to each of these Power 4, and I think that's enough. If you give 2 to each of the Power 4, the SEC and the Big 10 will say we should get more teams in. Well, you will, because we all think that you're good until such a time as you're not good anymore. And that day could come, and I think that is what Sankey is most afraid of. When I was a child, nobody gave a damn about the SEC because it really wasn't that good. In the mid-1990s, it was really just Florida, right? Florida was who you had to worry about. But Miami was always Miami. Florida State was always Florida State. Oklahoma came out of nowhere from many because the doldrums were the 90s for Oklahoma. And then Bob Stoops injected some life in this thing. They win a national championship 2000. By 2003, Nick Saban's at LSU, and he's winning a national championship. The tide can turn that quickly is what I'm saying. But you look at Nebraska. Nebraska ruled the 90s. I don't give a damn what anybody wants to tell you. Nebraska was a monster. Nobody wanted any problems with Nebraska Cornhuskers football. I can't wait for them to figure this thing out because when Dr. Tom was there, good Lord, were you terrified of those dudes. The black shirts used to mean something. Running the triple option used to mean something. Dog, Eric Crouch won the friggin' Heisman Trophy on a team that didn't win no national championship. That's how much cachet they had from the 90s. Tommy Frazier's on the short list of the greatest football players of all time, and he threw the pass. That man never threw for more than 1,500 yards in a season, dog. That's how monster they were running the football. I get it. Sankey's going to try to do the best he can for his interest, and because the Big Ten and the SEC have more of a say on this format than most others, they're probably going to load up. That sucks. We can continue to talk about it. We can continue to say, hey, we don't think this is fair, but that ain't stopped them before. Like, one of the things that I try to stress, especially on this show, is it's not about what you know is right or what you think is fair. It's about the way we've always done business. The way we've always done business is we want to get the most money from what we're doing. And the best way to do that for your SEC, the Big Ten, is to get as many teams into that thing as you can. And if we're being capitalist about it, you would much rather LSU get into the the college football playoff tournament than Kansas. You would much rather see Florida get into the college football playoff than BYU. That's the way that the thing is structured. We've always made the rich richer in our sport. It is going to take way more than changing the playoff format to change those outcomes. It just is. Not going to happen in the way that you want it to happen. But until such a time, all you can do is wait for them to put their 4 in from the Big Ten, to put their 4 in from the SEC, and then go beat them. Boise State had an opportunity. They fumbled it. They missed. They couldn't get it done. Cincinnati had an opportunity. They fumbled it. They missed. They couldn't get it done. Until we see a team that can run the table, like legitimately run the table from a group of 6 conference, this is what it's going to be, guys. You ain't got to like it. You ain't even got to think it's fair. But you do need to accept it, adapt to it, and respond. And you got it. Now you have an opportunity. We didn't give Boise State in the 2000s, TCU in the 2000s, Tulane in the 90s the opportunity to go and play for the belt. Boise State, Cincinnati have had opportunities to play for the belt. If you're Cincinnati, win 2 games. Win 2 games. Turns out beating Alabama, that's too much. Boise State, win 3 games. Beat Penn State. Beat Notre Dame. Beat Ohio State. Boom. You got it. Beat Georgia. Boom. You got it. Right? Like any one of those things. You have to. I'm frustrated by this because it feels like those that have a lot think they should have more, and those that believe they have nothing are unwilling to find a way. That's all I do, dude. I find a way. Make me Boise State. I don't want to be Boise State. I'd much rather be Oklahoma. I'd much rather be Alabama. I'd much rather be Ohio State. But until I can deserve such an advantage, I'm going to work with what I got. So if I got to be Boise State running the table, guess what I'm damn well going to do? Run the friggin' table. Stop crying. Go to work.